Okay, I am sun dyeing yarn today, and I'm going to over dye some variegated yarn that I just don't want to deal with the color pooling on it, so I'm going to try to make it more homogeneous. I have a 1 gallon jar here. My aunt had several of these, and so I have about 7 of these, and I'm going to use some of them for dyeing. And I tried this already once and it was very successful. So it's 90 degrees at 9 o'clock today, so I think it's going to be hot enough to do this. So I have a half a cup of vinegar and the rest is water, and I'm just going to prep my yarn, and while I'm prepping it I'm going to leave it out in the sun to start heating the water up for dyeing. So I'm just going to place the second skein in there, and actually the second skein needs to be tied, so I'm going to tie the second skein and then put it in there. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty hot day, and I've done this on not so hot days and it still works, but notice that my jar is not completely full of water because when you put the yarn in, it obviously fills up, and so you don't need to fill it. I had it filled to about here, just at the curve of a pickle jar there. And I put a half a cup of vinegar in there to soak the yarn. Now the yarn is soaked and thoroughly, just wet through the fiber. And this is an acrylic wool blend, an acrylic merino blend, which is perfect because I just want to have some variation. I just don't want to have this much, and so I'm going to use a dilution of black to just bring some, to make it a little bit more homogeneous in color. And so I've got some black here that I mixed up a while ago that I've been just using a little bit at a time. And I've got 200 grams of yarn here. And so I just want to, that's probably going to do it. Just not too much. It's just a small amount. It goes a long way with black. And then what I'm going to do is just put this back in there. Okay. So I have both skeins in there now, and I'm using acid dye, and I'm using tongs that I only use for dyeing, and I didn't stir up the dye at all because I'm not looking for I really like tonals. This isn't going to be tonal because to do tonal you really need to have them laying flat and spread out as much as possible. And they're a little bit, just kind of cramped in here and very vertical, and so they're touching each other and stuff. So this is not going to turn out tonal, but I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. The last time I did this, I did it on a merino mohair silk blend Rowan fine art yarn, and it really, really worked well. So what I'll do is I'll put the lid on this, and I've got it downstairs in my backyard, where it's actually, the sun is in the morning, and it's really quite hot for today. It's quite hot for our area. We're having record-breaking temperatures this year, so it's perfect to try this. Once the sun moves over the house to the west side, what I'm going to do is take it upstairs onto my deck in the front, and we have tile on that deck, a reflective kind of stone tile that gets so hot you can't even stand on it. So I will put it up there and cook it for the rest of the day, and we'll see if we get the water to run clean the first day. This is my upper deck, and I made some sun tea up here a couple weeks ago on a record high day, and I measured the temperature, the candy thermometer, and it was actually 120 degrees when I took the tea inside. And when I took the lid off tea in the same container, but one that I use for food and not dye, there was steam coming off of it. So it doesn't look as hot today, but let's just put a candy thermometer in there and see how warm it gets, because the dye is clear now. And I started this about 10 o'clock, and it is now about 4 o'clock, so just 6 short hours. It's just as easy as making sun tea, and I have a darker, more homogeneous yarn. I'll wash it up and dry it and skein it up and show it to you guys, and if it's not dark enough I may have to go another round. I did go really light this time because I've done this twice before with black and trying to get a gray color, and it's gotten too dark for me for what I was looking for, so I'm hoping now that I just kind of nailed it, but we will see. Let's see what we have for temperature here. So, it's not even, well, it's about, it's just over 100 degrees, so it's hot enough, yeah. It's hot enough. It's just below simmering point. I think is like 130, so it's right there. So I think this worked out really well, and I have to get a new